All right, folks, we've got a huge Psychic Notes to do today. Two quick announcements right up front. No matter what is going on with social media out there, just wanted to let you know you can always come back to my homepage, www.somaticmoney.com. I am embedding the free videos through Vimeo on my website. So if you're ever in doubt, you just go back to my website. I will always have my videos there. Currently on social media, I am on TikTok, YouTube, Blue Sky, and Skylight. You can go check me out on any of those channels. Number two, my weekly and monthly subscriptions. I'm beginning to get those up to snuff. My energy forecasting page on my www.somaticmoney.com website. The energy forecasting page is fully up and running with information and instructions and videos and click-throughs. And so you can go there and get everything you need for my energy forecasting free video as well as subscription. So let's get to the Psychic Notes part. And usually I don't do this, but I want you to have the 4 primary areas that I'm going to be talking about so you can clock them as we move through this talk. The first, I'm going to share a little bit about what I've been going through personally, energetically, and share some of the energetics so you can mix and match that with what you have been energetically experiencing in your own life through this past very intense week. So that's number 1. Number 2, Ghislaine Maxwell. Yes, you heard that right. We are going to circle right back and stay on that puppy. There is stuff going on there that then connects in with the third topic, which is about the 3D storm going on right now, the 3D shadow world storm going on right now, and the 5D light storm going on right now. We have 2 very marked things to talk about there. And then the last one, oh my God, this is going to be so much fun. Decoy duck. You know how we're living through this spin of current events, like there's just a storm of current events going on and it's hard to keep up with it. Well, I went through and I line itemed all the major news of this past week, and I've been having some funny feelings about the major news, and I said, okay, Spirit Team, show me which ones are decoy ducks that are covering up some of this other stuff that is going on that's basically connected in with the Ghislaine Maxwell stuff and the Diddy stuff. So at the very end of this, I'm going to click through the very top headlines and I'm going to show you which ones clocked out as the decoy ducks where, you know, they've got all of our attention and then there's stuff going on in other areas that we are not paying attention to. We need to be aware of that. And to me, this helps us keep our head above water in the cesspool of everything that's going on right now. So those are the 4 areas we're going to walk through. And remember, I'm the psychic that's working with looking at things from stepping back, looking at the larger picture, the larger game plan, so we can see where we're at and what we're doing so we don't lose our minds in the middle of this thing. That's my MO here with this today, okay? So let's go ahead and get started. Number 1 on the list. I know I appear a bit perky, but really behind the scenes, I'm like, it has been quite a week. And the reason it's been quite a week is we have come off a level 1 track-changing historic timeline event that petered out like Sunday, Monday, and then we're now sandwiched between the next big timeline jumping event, which is a layer 2. It's not a layer 1, but it's a layer 2. So it's right in there and it's sitting at about 85%. So it's another powerful timeline jump. And in the middle of these 2 places, energy gateways. And what do energy gateways do? Energy gateways are all about recoding our cellular code so our soul contracts can catch up with the changes we made in timeline jumps here. And the timeline jumps we're headed into, we're doing really deep energetic cellular recoding right now. And guess what is coming along for the ride? Guess what is boosting us with that and supporting us with that? Take a look at Schumann's. Take a look at freaking Schumann's. Earth, Gaia, lover, God lover, she is not letting up. And I swear to God, this week, remember I talked about a handful of weeks back, Spirit Team warned us you're going to be in 6 weeks of storm, back end of July, front end of September. We're in the storm, people. We are in the storm, and part of it is an energetic storm. And at this halfway mark, we're right around the halfway mark, right around the halfway mark. look at what Mother Earth is doing. She is revving the engines, supporting us, blasting through. It literally is like, wake up the code, wake up the code, wake up the code, see it, see it, see it, come along for the ride, 5D, new Earth. It's all sitting in humans, and this is between two monster timeline jumps. I told you people we were headed into timeline jumping season. If you didn't believe me, I hope you believe me now. So coming back to my personal life with all of this going on, and this is going to help you track what you're doing, and so you can kind of mix and match and I'm doing that, Dan, or I'm not doing that. It'll help you kind of gauge where you're at with everything, right? So Sunday coming into Monday, you saw me make some major changes with my platform. I did not expect that between the timeline jump and then some very clear decisions that I made, that I followed up with actions, that I went full tilt into a major cellular code change shift. And that was Sunday into Monday. I mean, this thing flattened me for about 2 days. And some of the times when you don't see me here, it's either because I'm busy with my business or it's because I'm busy dealing with my own energy stuff. This week, it was full on dealing with my business while I'm doing energy stuff. It was a crazy week, right? And in the middle of it, we've got 4 major astrology layers going on in the middle of it, just cranking things. So I kind of went down for the count with a cellular code change. That was on Sunday, Monday into Tuesday, okay? Then I start, kind of coming back up online, fluffing myself up a little bit, self-talk, I can do this, we can do this, everything's working out. And then within the last 24 hours, but especially this morning, bam, I got hit with another one. I got hit with another rotational cellular code change shift, soul contracts changing. And folks, all of this is happening in my second chakra and my root chakra. Now, I know the time of the great change, we talk about heart chakras changing, expansion of heart, and yes, that is definitely true. But you want to know where the really big, deep difference is happening when we really get down into our second chakras and our root chakras, and we do our healing and our soul contract changes and our recoding changes at very root, deep basement platform level type places. And that's what I have been doing all week long. And I'm just wondering if some of you out there have been going through the same thing. And as I have been doing that, I'm realizing, oh my God, I have gone through so many of these. I literally know how to clock out the rhythm of these cellular code changes in my body. I literally, at this point, I know the anatomy of them. Almost like clockwork. When the one came through on Sunday, I was like, oh yeah, that's that part of the cellular code change. And then I kind of went through it, and then the next round of it started. I'm like, oh yeah, that's that next part of it. So I realized this actually locks in and clocks into one of my somatic money blueprints that I call the biology of money, and it's where code shifting happens. So I've just put together a little video, not very long. It's an add-on, and it pertains here. It pertains into soul code change shifts here, but it also pertains very much to our money. So I just want to let you know that I've made that available. If you're interested in it, it is right here. But I just wanted to land this right here, right now, is that this window we're in, this very intense cracking point energy, both in shadow world and in light world, it's very real, it's very visceral, you're not making it up in your head, it definitely is happening, and there are cellular code changes happening in your body, changing your soul contracts with your life and your money, and how you relate with people in your life, and how you relate with agreements, and how you relate with those exchanges. It is all right there, and we're doing it at deep, deep levels. So that's number one. That's at the personal level. So I would just ask you to really review what's going on between 2 major timeline shifts and a massive energy gateway and 4 stacked primary astrology movements going on right now, along with a massive Schumann's. I mean, we are getting it from all angles. It is amazing we are functional at all right now this week. So if you're upright, mwah, Chef's kiss, fantastic. You're doing it. Just keep putting one foot in front of the other, okay? So that's personal level. That's number one. That's just number one. Number two, Ghislaine Maxwell. You know, she's pretty much disappeared from the headlines. It's all kind of gone hush-hush. And isn't that interesting how certain people have had her disappear without fully disappearing her, if you know what I mean? And so she moved from a New York prison to the Florida prison to the Texas prison, and we were all like, Texas prison? Why a Texas prison? And a few people clocked, they were like, yeah, it's Club Med down there. So we know she had some bargaining power, and she used it, and Spirit Team they said the last time I was talking with you guys about this, Spirit Team said, yeah, she's got more chips to play, and she's going to play them, and she sure did. She played chips so that she could get work release. I mean, this is the queen of grooming young women and sex trafficking young women for the elite, and now she's out on work release? What is all that about? So I am going to begin to point some things out here, and I do believe this is probably my next intuitive state of the nation. We've got to go there. It is gross, it is ugly, and this is the one thing keeping all of it hooked together. And remember, House of Representatives, home of the beast, most corrupt. I believe that's where all of the engine on this is really, really, truly happening with the whole thing. And so we need to ask, okay, what does Ghislaine Maxwell really represent? Well, everybody knows, but really doesn't say it, and it's the whole quote-unquote sex thing. And we know how the whole American public thing is like with sex. It's like, oh, we can't talk about sex in public. Oh my God, that would be awful. Well, here's the deal. It's not just sex. It's not just it's not just grooming women for sex trafficking with elites. It goes layers deeper. It's connected in with and I've got to talk a little bit in code here, it's connected in with the S rings, fill in the blank, and the P rings, fill in the blank, that are connected in with the black male that keeps all of the corrupt people in place who have been in place forever, and it grooms corrupt people to be in place. It's the black male that keeps this whole really shadowed, corrupt, nasty, horrible system in place. This is why, you see your quote-unquote representative vote against you or defend the president. Whoa, why are they doing it? It goes further than MAGA. It goes so much further than MAGA. And it's the blackmail of the S rings and the P rings that you have to engage in to be able to play at that level, to be in these spaces, to hold power. Now, I'm kind of spreading it all out for you, and I'm talking in code some, and you're going to have to kind of read between the lines some. And so here's my feeling. My feeling is, they're not going to let Ghislaine out of the bag on what she said, and they're not really going to let Diddy out on the bag on this. There was a whole bunch of muffling that happened there as well. It's all been quieted and calmed down because the people in the know and the people in the power, if all of that comes to light, they're toast, right? So of course they're going to insulate it and squash it and dampen it. And I've just kind of had about enough of that. And so in my own way and kind of in my own safety way as well, I have a power tool. And you guys know what the power tool is. I'm just going to show it to you. I'm not going to say it out loud. I've got this power tool, remember? And I've already used that power tool on the House of Reps and on the Senate. We've already taken a look at some deeper dives there. We're going to go to the next step. And I am going to take a look and begin to use this to find out a little bit more specifics about who really is engaged at the deepest levels with these rings and with these cover-ups, and a little bit about more what's going on there, because it's all time to come to light. And frankly, we've known for a very long time that is what's been needing to come to light for this whole thing to blow wide open and us truly to be able to take our power back. And I do believe in one way, shape, or form that is going to happen. And it's probably going to happen in a really messy, uncomfortable, not fun way, because a whole bunch of people are going kicking and screaming on this, right? So, and I just find it very interesting at the cracking point of all of this, that Mother Earth is coming through and she is just goosing us and goosing us and goosing us for all this to come out right now. Oh, and I do have to say on the side, on the back end of this, that I have found it very interesting in all of my social media feeds. I have not been prompting it, but in all of my social media feeds, there's a little bit coming out on here on sex trafficking and grooming, and a little bit coming out on there on pedophilia and pedophilia grooming. It's just been kind of popping out. There was a woman in Omaha talking about the really nasty stuff that goes on in Omaha, Nebraska. You know, you wouldn't think, you know, Nebraska of all places. Well, evidently Omaha is a major hub for this kind of stuff. So this is going to completely rearrange our thinking as far as how power is structured in this country. It's a mind-blowing thing, and I haven't even gotten to talking about underground tunnels. That is totally a part of this whole thing. So we are going to leave all of that open-ended. That conversation is going to continue, and that is conversation number 2. Which leads us now to conversation number 3. And conversation number 3 is moving us from what I was talking about in number 1 and the very personal, intense experience we've all been going through this week, right? Now we're going to move it to the more national stage, global stage. We're going to pan back and we're going to look at the big picture. And what I want you to see in this picture is there is a powerful 5D light-driven element going on. I've already talked about that, sandwiched between 2 major timeline jumps, 4 major layers of astrology, Schumann's energy. Like right now, 5D is exploding. It is an eruption like I don't think I've ever seen before. I mean, I know it's hyperbole, but it's at a whole other level. All right, and at the same time this is happening, 3D, the beast is raging. The beast, the shadow, the beast, all the dark, ugly stuff, it is raging, and it's grabbing at straws, and it's doing everything possible. And it's like the more it gets, the more it wants. It's not happy, and it's just not going to end until it like wears itself out. And the feeling I get from the beast is that it knows it's out of time. And that's the reason that it's raging like it is. And what's very interesting, remember earlier in the winter when I talked about, for us to really experience 5D and bump this to a whole other level, the shadow would have to come along. And we saw it this week. We're seeing it this week. Like we have seen the shadow just flare to a whole other level. Well, at the same time, 5D is flaring and exploding and going off to a whole other level. And we're in the middle of this storm going, oh my God, which end is up? Everything is nuts. It is crazy. Oh my God, I don't know what to believe or to pay attention to or to do, because it's just, we're in the swirl. We're in the swirl of the storm. It's just, right? And where I want you to find your grounding, what I want you to be able to do as you're watching this with me is I want you to like use your breath, take that deep breath in, blow it out, step back from the picture, step back so you can begin to see the full picture. Like step back like let's step back like you step back, I don't know, 100 years. So you can see 100 years into the future and 100 years into the past and put it all into perspective so you can see what's going on right now. I want you to clock this next thing that I'm going to tell you. I did the August timeline jumping forecasting, and in that I went back and I looked at what was going on with timeline jumping in 2022 and 2023 and 2024 and where we're at in 2025. Do you know how many level 1 track changing timeline jumps we had in 2024? We had 6. We had 6. Do you know how many of those we had from 1987 previous? 1, maybe 2. 1, maybe 2. 2024, we have 6. That should tell you something. That should tell you why the beast is raging right now, because we're getting closer and closer and closer. We're at breaking point, cracking point. Beast is running out of time, right? So of course it's going to rage. The thing that I tell my clients, like I'm going to back up a little bit here. Here we are looking at the big picture, And you can kind of see it all in relief and go, oh, we're in the middle of the storm. Of course we lose our footing. What I was saying last week's, energy forecast, Spirit team was like, keep your footing, keep your footing. They knew we needed to have our footing this week. So in the middle of the storm, keeping our footing, having an idea of panning back and looking at this from a big picture perspective, we're in the middle of the storm at cracking point. We had we had some cracking points in June setting us up. We had some really pretty big cracking points in July that really set us up. And now, this is kind of the mother of them all, cracking points, because there's like a tipping point in here somewhere. And in this month, right now, we are in it right now. So keep your head, breathe, keep your head, keep your feet. Know you're in a storm, and know that your job is your own cellular code. What are your soul contracts? What are you doing with your own soul contracts? Because that's what the energy is asking us right now. It's asking, do you want to keep doing things the old way? Or do you want to do things the new way? That's basically what it boils down to. And just remember, I will continue to review that energy forecasting, and I clock up at the top of the week, Sunday, Monday, for my energy forecast, and then the subscription that goes with it for a much deeper dive. All right, so that brings us to topic number 4, and topic number 4 is about current events and the onslaught of current events that we are getting shellacked with. And this idea that I had of like, something's a little bit funny here, and it kind of felt like some decoy duck stuff going on. And so I listed out all of the current events that I could locate and find. Yeah, I went a little crazy with it. And then I took out my pendulum and I did a pendulum check to locate what are the decoy ducks going on here. And, you can feel them. I mean, when I look at the news, I'm like, yeah, important, but something else is going on here. So out of all the news going on, these are the 3 top decoy ducks. And just a little bit of warning, a couple of these are heartbreakers. Like when the pendulum hit yes on this and I did the double checks, I was like, I was hurt and I was angry because human beings, decent, basic human beings, are being used in quote unquote their cannon fodder. So right now, decoy duck number 1 is the Trump Putin visit in Alaska. Ever since that thing has come up, it's like, it is so hinky, it is so weird, and why Alaska? And so there's like all this undercurrent stuff going on with that. Like I look at the photos of that and I kind of check in on it. It's like, we're getting the headline of Trump and Putin meeting in Alaska to talk about Ukraine. That's a cover-up. That's a decoy duck taking us in one direction while completely other things are happening. And and my feeling is, at least this week, some of this covered up, Congress has been doing stuff secretly off to the side that is not being covered by the press. There's been some TikTok creators. They've been talking about it off and on a little bit, and I have not gone down that rabbit hole because simply I just don't have the bandwidth to. But I can't help but look at the news, and my spidey sense goes off, and I'm like reading the headline, and I go, that is not what that is about at all. And it's really dark and nasty and dangerous and awful. And so what they're showing us in the headlines is totally not what this is about. So that's decoy duck number 1. Number 2 decoy duck, and this begins to hit close to home and hurts and is angry, and that is the quote-unquote takeover of DC. That is decoy duck number 2. Yes, it is serious. Yes, it is concerning. Yes, it is erosion and destabilizes and all of that. And yes, it's amazing the resistance that's happening there and the lawsuits that are beginning to pop up and the people pushing back. That is fantastic. And that whole thing, it's a cover-up to get our attention to go there because they're doing something else over here that they don't want us paying attention to. So that was the second thing this week going on. The third thing going on, and this has been going on long-term, and this just breaks my heart so hard and makes me raging angry. And it turns out the whole immigrant thing, the whole detention thing, the whole ICE thing, it is one of the largest decoy duck cover-ups of all, covering up other things that they're working on doing. Does it serve the white privilege, white supremacy agenda that this illegal regime has and the people that go with it? Yes. Yes, it does. That is premeditated on their part. And and it is being used to cover up other things. So while we are fighting on the front lines with certain things, and we're going to begin to find out, oh, while we were doing this, they were doing that, I'm just giving you a heads up on what I am reading. There is going to be some whiplash coming out of this thing that just, you know, it's going to be hard to trust a quote-unquote government and representative people again after what we're going through, the trauma, the systemic collective trauma happening right now is just, you know, it is off the charts crazy. And, you know, all of this is going to come down to, in the end, of us showing up and being the people that we've always been waiting for, us showing up and creating it on our own. And that is the nature of what I've talked about in previous videos, the transformation. Like this is all Pluto, this is all and the other astrology going on. Remember, we're in a transformative process, and I'm not committed to the destruction, I'm committed to the transformation. And part of the transformation is things coming apart, making way for new things to come through. And we're in the heat of it. We're in the heat of the moment of the storm and the destruction and the nastiness and the awfulness and the shadow, you know, raising its ugly head so that we can actually begin to see the full truth of what's been covered up for decades and decades and decades and decades. We're in the middle of that right now. And it's going to take some time. It's going to take some time to sort it all out. And so what is our sanity in the middle of this? Our sanity in the middle of this is knowing 5D is very alive and well. 5D, frankly, is running the engine on this. 5D is piercing the veil on all the shadow world stuff on this, and we can't stop. We have to keep going in one way, shape, form, or another, whatever resistance looks like for you. 5D is on our side. She is doing her magic. Things are transforming. Things are changing. The light explosion is going off. Things are shifting. And our job is to stay present with ourselves, do our light work, do our cellular code work, and take action where it is most appropriate and where our soul line is aligned with to be able to do that. As far as the psychic notes for now, that is more than enough. Make sure to check out my subscriptions, and I will see you in my energy forecast at the top of the week, Sunday, Monday, and just make sure you keep walking forward to meet those miracles along the way, and I will see you in my next video.